This is a class about the 5 wisdom families, the 5 Buddha families inside the mandala. You can learn to do the mandala on my course, where we have 10 classes, where I go more into the wisdom, each one of them, each one of the element, and we learn how to do the whole complete mandala in 10 classes. Let's talk about the 5 families. And this is something very, characteristic of the Vajrayana, especially because, when Buddhism came to Tibet, in Tibet was burned. And burn is a very shamanistic, or how do you call, naturalistic religion. So it was completely, fully engaged with the elements, with the spirits of the mountain, with the sky, the forest, the animals. So it was very alive, very animated. The whole where they lived, they lived in nature. They couldn't consider talking about reality or meditation without talking about the environment. It had no so much the artificial presence as we have today, that sometimes people are inside an apartment for days and days without getting out, without seeing the sky, without touching running water. So that was not a reality for people in Tibet 2,000 years ago. So we can surely easily imagine that direct experience with the elements. And the elements are, to begin with, space. So we will talk into talking about space. Some people think, why is that an element? But we will understand how important it is, especially space. And that's why space is also in the center of the mandala. Then earth, water, air, and fire. So these are the 5 elements. And this is also what we see on the colorful lungta. Lungta are the flags. They are colorful because they represent these 5 elements, and each element is connected to a kind of wisdom. So this is because when Buddhism then came to Tibet, it was mixed with Bon, and actually it kind of integrated this notion of the 5 elements into the quest of enlightenment. So I think they even refine, our interaction and our perspective about the elements with Buddhism, and using that not only how to deal with my surroundings, but really recognizing in myself when these elements are unbalanced or balanced or lacking, or they are in abundance too much, So of course, it's we should never think that you belong to one family and you don't have the other elements. It's impossible. It's like, oh, I'm only made of bones. No, you're made of liquids and bones and skin, and it's growing all the time. The hair doesn't, So it's everything. It's a real sense of mandala. Everything is interconnected. And that is why I think the best way of showing about the 5 elements is in the mandala, because it really shows this interconnectedness. And the way we are going to do this mandala is that the rainbow that goes around each wisdom, they are all interconnected. It's a lace, And this I will tell later on from where I got this inspiration for the mandala. But I thought it was important to do the rainbow interlacing each wisdom to really show that they are not isolated. But the way that we are going to speak about them is isolated because it's a question of language, It's we have a linear way of thinking. So But the way of grasping, of really bringing to your life the idea of the five wisdom is by the glimpse. And the glimpse only art can show you, which is in a glimpse you get the five wisdom there. It's only through the mandala you can. It's more close to the truth, more than language. Okay, but language we are limited to. We have to use it. So they are called the wisdoms, the five, or let's say they are called the five families. Yeah, the five families, and they are each family is connected to a kind of wisdom, a kind of virtue that you have in your body. Yeah, and actually, each family is connected to an organ in your body, and especially an emotional state. And a poison. A poison in the sense they also translate as a obscured seed. It's like a seed that if you start watering that dark seed, it can show as a poison. But it's just the other side of the coin. Everything, is still experiencing, even wisdom in this body, in a dualistic way. So it has both sides. And this is how beautifully the Tibetans understood, and they said, okay, I cannot run away from anger. I cannot run away from sadness. I cannot run away from jealousy, from what else? Ignorance. I mean, they are there. I don't have to make an effort, right? I have to live with that. With that sadness is there, right? Am I a bad person? And sometimes we even, kind of beat ourselves. Oh my God, I'm sad. I'm in agony. I'm unquiet. I'm not present. While I'm a bad person, that's so harmful when we do that. But we are not trained, I think, especially in the West, to see this shadow, or like Chogyam Trungpa used to call the neurosis, the neurotic manifestation of that other side of the quality, to see them as a door. So, for example, if I'm with a lot of grief and sadness, this is the door for me, or this motivates me to really look into a more joyful state. I will beg for joy. I will search for joy. And joy will be my search, because what moves me is the seed of sadness. So if I feel I am in a very ignorant space, ignorant means not knowing in the sense, in this intellectual sense. Somebody can be very intellectualized, very smart. It can have read many books, but is ignorant. It's like it has no feeling with the true source. It's kind of disconnected with people and the subject of what he's speaking about. And we know there's a lot of people, and we all have that a bit, because we are in a generation where what I know is my value. It doesn't matter if I feel bad. If I know, if I can speak, oh, fine, you're great, Or more or less how stupid you can make others feel, by being complicated sometimes, yeah. Even art. When you go to museums and you see art, sometimes you don't understand, and the first thought is like, man, I should be really stupid because I'm not getting it, It's not a generous art, sometimes. It really, I don't know, anyway, so we can, define ignorance in many levels, but what the ignorance they talk here, so it's not connected to intellectual, it's really about not being connected to the sense of the truth of what I'm speaking of, what I know. So it's about the lack of wisdom. So if I feel that I'm in that state of like, man, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting what my teachers are saying. I don't understand myself, I don't understand reality, I feel ignorant. It's by contemplating ignorance that I will attain wisdom. You see? So it's not actually by studying, let's say, studying the wisdom in my mind, because maybe it's not ripe, but it's by studying and analyzing my own ignorance that is the door to grow my wisdom. So in this way, it's very useful. It's very beautiful, to accommodate all the afflicting emotions, which is not good to feel. I mean, we shouldn't, cultivate these emotions, but they are there. Like I said, without effort, bang, you're in agony, you're in suffering, you're feeling lonely, all these status that is very easy to feel. So just see, wow, loneliness arrived. It's in me. Let me analyze the truth. And when I get to the source is consciousness. It's still there because everything came from the same source, from the Big Bang. Everything came from the same thing. There is no difference. So when we really go like deeper, don't try to run away, but go in the quest inquiry. Why are you lonely? What do I really want? Why am I feeling lonely? Who is feeling lonely? Who is this who? You can go deeper and deeper until you get to that, that space in between the atoms and the electrons. Because you go on dividing, you go into that nuclear wisdom kind of thing, and then when you see, it's empty. You see? And the door was all the afflicting emotions that we call afflicting emotions, but they are generated by ignorance. So once we go diving and really studying that emotion, we will kind of clean that ignorance, that veil of ignorance, and see that everything is empty. That empty wisdom. Everything is coming from the same source. So this is the main reason why I really love these teachings, because I don't know you, but I'm full of neurotic emotions. Bubbling all the time, all the time. They are my best friends. They visit me every day. And then I and it's a training, because it's not fun to, oh no, oh, there you come again, let's sit with you again, damn it, you came yesterday, you want me to cry again? Okay, so in a way it taught me in first place, and I taught that in our other class of compassion, the Mandala of Compassion, when we talked about patience. And patience is quite a virtue, because you really need time to get into the process of using the neurosis as a door. You need a lot of patience, because it's not when you decide, sometimes the neuroses come and say, hey, practice now. And it's usually on that time when you don't want, when somebody, you're expecting somebody, I don't know, like an example, you're expecting your boyfriend, your girlfriend to say, hey, I'm coming at night, and you're doing that dinner, and then, you pick up the phone and he or she says, no, I'm not going, not coming. I just changed my mind. You have all the right to send he or she to hell or whatever, and you can even do. But it's that moment that you are overcome. Your awareness is shut off. So it's on these seconds actually that that they come inside. They infiltrate in your heart, and they poison your heart, and they distort that emotion. In that 1 second, distorts reality. Suddenly, your girlfriend or boyfriend is bad, is egoistic, it's all his fault, and is blah blah. We know that, but you see how quick and small. It's like an injection, very small. It gets into your blood, and then you spend days and days and sometimes years, depending of the story, to clean that poison that was thrown in your blood system in 1 second. And we can kind of avoid that by always training our awareness, because it's very easy and even pleasurable to train our awareness when everything is fine and the music and the flutes are playing and the angels are going around. It's very easy, it's pleasurable, but the awareness has to be in that millisecond. You have to really be intimate with that silence, with that, not responding, and still be alive and still feel it, but not be completely poisoned by it. Just a little bit, just a little bit of poison, fine, but don't get a overdose of that. So it's all about balance, and we know a lot that in nature is all at the ecosystem has such an important balance, of I was watching a program that says that the Sahara sand comes all the way crossing the Atlantic and it falls into the Amazon forest, and that produces more vapor or something I cannot explain, but it's so interconnected. And then the rain from the Amazon is what brings all what they call the sky rivers, and it really brings water for all the Americas because of the Sahara Desert, so it's all this interconnection. And in a sense, we know that if our world changes overall 2-3 degrees Celsius at least, it will be a big change, big change. It will be destruction. So that balance is in a way very, very, very delicate. And still life is going on and still is so delicate. And so is inside ourselves too. It's strong, it's alive, it makes us walk every day, do our work every day, but still we are so sensitive. But that's the good news is that the same way that our winds are turned upside down, our winds can also turn right side up. Yeah, so okay, you're feeling bad. There are levels of your elements inside of you too. So the first layer is really the how do you call the display here. I can display something on a more superficial level of my daily life. Then there are deeper and deeper, which are more fixed elements. But the superficial ones, we can just, watch a movie that feels good, talk to a friend that feels good, pray. You can pray and do your mantras, you feel good. So the same way that they flip you, the same way you can also turn them. You just have to know what are your practices that will turn that. And I think by dividing them in the elements, you can kind of study and know yourself better. Because the key really is to know yourself. I mean, remember, the analyzing process is to know yourself. Why am I feeling this? What is this? Who is feeling this? Where does it come from? Does it really exist? And you go deep, 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 deep. This is the process, the journey of knowing yourself. And this is what brings awareness. And this is a meditation, that analysis, too. And this is all about this contemplation and awareness without effort. We still do effort to be aware of what's going on in and outside. But when that awareness becomes effortless, this is what we are going to talk a little bit, and we are going to draw the Dakini of space. It is that ease without effort, to be present with whatever shows up. Yeah. So let's just for you maybe to take a note. You probably know, but let's register here. Let's take a look on the 5 of them. So what we are going to do in the center is the space family, or Buddha family. Okay, so each family has a name, has a symbol, a color, an element, a direction, wisdom, and a obscure pattern. It has a landscape, a shape, a body shape, a sense perception, all aggregated to those. We don't have to fix on this, okay? I think we can go more into the wisdom itself. But for us to color and all, it's very important to know the color and the element, of course. So space element is symbolized by the Buddha family, which is white. In some Buddhist lineages, white for space is exchanged for blue. It's, so sometimes you will see, depending on the lineage, they just change the color. Blue, because space, is how we see the sky as blue, and then water will be white. In this, how I'm giving you, we are considering space element, Buddha family, white color. And for me, makes sense because I imagine space like a white canvas. You need a canvas, you need white canvas. You cannot, create something with something which is already done. So space it's the basic for anything you create. It's space, silence. You need a musician or to speak. You need as a base silence. So the canvas of music is silence. So it's connected to that. And so many times when you have so many thoughts, so many ideas about so many things, when you are confused, when you don't know, always come back to space element. Give space, Buddha family. And space in that sense of having no edges, you don't hook on anything, and nothing hooks you. You are not taken. This is the wisdom of space, is that fertile, pulsating space, ready to to give space to manifest anything. We're going to go deeper into the wisdom of space when we are focusing in the isolated element. And the poison or the obscured pattern is ignorance. Or would say for us to remember better is the spaced out. When somebody like completely spaced out and no interest to even hear you. It's like it's nothing. It's bored. It can get into depression, so it can get into that empty depression, which is just like lack of of interest. So there is no aliveness. Another way also is to feel too crowded too. So you have the lack and the how do you call it? The exaggeration of it. Yeah, the exaggeration will be that spaced out, and the lack will be that person who has no space in his mind. We can imagine that how it is. But basically, the poison is ignorance, no interest, no wisdom, no space to anything to be revealed. So, and Buddha family is going to be in the center of the mandala. It's always in the center. Then we have the Vajra family, which is water element, blue in color. So Vajra family, water element, blue in color, usually in the west, on the east gate. And I'm going to show you that usually in the Buddhist mandala, you enter from the east. and the east is the lower mandala. That's east. And north will be, looking at your paper, north will be on the left. Okay, so Vajra is what we call down, what we call south, but is west, and west is down. When we get the paper, we see the directions better. So Vajra is so water element, and the poison is anger, and the wisdom is mirror-like wisdom. Why is anger and mirror-like wisdom, what do they have to do with each other? First, mirror-like, let's think about that aspect of water. When it's like a lake, it becomes like a mirror. So the Tibetans consider a lot this aspect of the water, the still water, and the mind should be like the still water. Why? Because anything that reflects in a mirror, beautiful or ugly, it doesn't change the mirror. Like if something really shocking reflects in the mirror, it doesn't explode, right? I mean, that would be funny, right? So something really ugly, it comes in the mirror and the mirror, breaks. But it doesn't. The mirror is like, it's super like, since not even sincere. It is what it is. It reflects what it is without judgment, without concept. But it's true, and it doesn't change its essence. So this is, imagine you being able to hear even the most shocking reality, hearing the most beautiful whatever truth, and you can absorb that without reacting and without ignoring too. It's not indifference. It's really being able to be sharp. So it's interesting too, and we are going to see later on that the water element has to do also with a crispy morning, when you see the landscape is very sharp, it's very clear, it's very clean, and sometimes we can see life and we can look at ourselves with that kind of sharpness. Now, when things get confused, too hot, starts boiling, vapor comes, you don't see anything anymore. Everything is cloudy. Or inside the water, when it starts bubbling, it starts to get muddy and you get stuck. And all this confused vision, it has to do with the vision where you are, produces anger. You think that everybody has a wrong view. Then you start judging everybody. No, you're wrong. Like we see war now. We have war because there are no agreements about visions, about concepts. We should have borders. We shouldn't have borders. I need a bigger border. You need a smaller one. We are discussing because you have a different view than me. It's all about vision. And that creates anger. So, so this is Vajra family. Afterwards, we are going to see more about the landscape and in our body, how we can find that, how we can enter that. So now it's just a overall of it. So from Vajra, we go to Ratna family. Ratna family is earth element and is yellow in color. Ratna means jewel also. A jewel. I see Jasmine. You probably say better. Jewel.
It is kind of a weird word, actually.
It is.
When you think about it, when you talk it,
it's like,
it doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Say a L, but even more back in your throat and jaw. Like.
Yeah, actually. We're on the same page.
Good. You understand. Yeah, you understand. So, Ratna family, yellow in color, or you can imagine even golden color. I like to imagine golden because it's connected to gold, to the riches of the earth. That's why the yellow, and also that brilliance of something very precious. So you have yellow in the sense of that light. Okay, so these are the element is earth. And the wisdom is equanimity, and generosity. And the pride, the poison is pride and insecurity, arrogance. And how is that connected? When we feel the earth, think about it, it's sustaining us all the time. Without earth under our feet, we are without balance, basically. So we need a ground, like very basic. We need a ground, we need the floor to have balance. So earth is to feel secure. Okay, I'm standing on my feet. I feel good. I can stand for myself. And we say that, yeah, hey, stand by yourself. It's like, take your place. Feel your spine, right. And it's something to be in you. And that sense of being in me, being on my feet, that ability is the earth. And when I'm on my feet, I have trust in me and in the world. I don't have to add something to my speech. I don't have to speak. I don't have to prove anything, because I am. And so it feels very comfortable. Ratna people are very comfortable, and you feel comfortable next to them. They're very comfortable in their own body, and you feel like, wow. Usually people who, for example, are not beautiful in the standards, in these magazines and all. They have just like a normal body, but they are standing on themselves with so much sureness that you feel attracted. You feel wow, wow. So it has that beautiful quality of like, I feel good. So uh, so you can feel that this is and it gives a feeling of a generous presence. This kind of people, you feel that their beauty, their radiance is like a present. It actually shines the room. You feel that the other, it's like it's a presence that really fills up. It's like a queen or a king, and it's with you. So it has a generous presence. Overall, it's generous. So think about nature. Yeah, nature gives its fruits, and it even whatever animals don't eat, it falls on the floor and it becomes fertilizer to the floor. Like nothing is lost, and the tree is not like holding its fruits. No, you shouldn't have this. I mean, the more the tree gives, the more she has, because the seeds are going to fall and it's going to grow again, so it multiplies. So it's beautiful. Being able to be generous has to do so much with trust. It's natural. I'm giving and it's going to multiply. And now when somebody is not sure of themselves, they feel insecure, and one of the results of that, to puff up, to kind of show off too much. It has to prove himself or herself, because I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling that if I don't speak, if I don't say something, if I don't do something, I'm going to be invisible. So when I feel insecure, and I, puff up too much, and it can come out as arrogance and pride, and this is the seed of arrogance and pride is insecurity, Because if you're secure of yourself, of your generous aspect and qualities, you don't have to prove anything. And still people are going to see you because it's energy. It's about energy. So of course a lot we can go deeper into the layers of each element. So this is just an overall on Ratna. And then Padma. Padma family is red in color. And Padma means lotus. And she's on the west, which will be on the upper, up on the mandala, up. So the wisdom is how do you call that? Discriminating awareness, and we are going to understand why, because it feels like why discriminating awareness, because the obscure pattern is desire, passion, greed, not greed, but clinging, lust, and compulsive. I want, and I need more. And somebody who has a lot of pleasure is able to enjoy life, but needs that, and we know so much. It has all levels, and our society is based on that neurosis a lot, all of them, but based on desire, clinging to. I need that, So, and the element is fire. So one aspect, of course, of fire is it's warm, it feels good. It transforms. It brings the process of alchemy through the fire. So it transforms also. So it transforms any human being, let's say, into a lover. Anyone. When you have a lot of that, you fall in love very easy, and you have a necessity of having a relationship all the time, a relation with the waitress when you're waiting, and you ask, you want to engage all the time. You need that kind of not only attention, but that engagement all the time. It's like you feed on it. So so that's the fire. The fire is always cooking, is always shining. In a way, is beautiful to see, because depending on the motivation, it can be a beautiful display of beauty, of art, of laughter and pleasure. The problem starts when the person who is in brilliance, who is shining, needs your attention, needs the attention, and then when it doesn't get it, it gets into, I don't know, alcohol, drugs, and excessive sex. Because sex is an illusion of attention, yeah, but everybody's looking to themselves. When do you really look into a lover's eyes? Is when you love, yeah. And sex is all, it could be in the superficial way, that consuming. So the person who needs that attention through sex, for example, it actually is just losing its energy in the illusion of being seen. So it can get very confusing and destructive. So it has to do with that. But let's think also about the fire aspect, which is light. So it's through light that I see things, And it's not a scientific light, a white light. It's fire, candlelight. I see things, but also I let a little bit of the shadow. I understand and I accept the mystery of each human being. Each human being has a mystery, and that what makes so attractive, because I don't know completely the person, because the fire, the light is very, candlelight. It's candlelight, which makes people more beautiful, right? I mean, come on, when you're in candlelight, everybody's beautiful, so imagine that. And then when that love becomes compassion, and it's not like laser like only one being, but it's for the world, that love. You can see beauty in each being, and then it moves in so much beauty, and it really benefits and inspires. So much can be said, and we are going to go deep on that. Now let's talk about the last one, and let's draw. Um, Hopefully you're getting an overall. And then after Padma, then we have Karma. Karma family, which is air element, green in color. And a lot of people ask, why green? Why? I mean, air doesn't have a color, of course. No. All of these elements actually can be seen in so many different colors. Even fire can be blue, right? I mean, so let's not fix our ideas. It's really just symbolic, because, I mean, even blue can be fire, like I said. So, but a beautiful way to think that air is manifested symbolically by the color green is because we see wind hitting on the trees, and the leaves, so it moves. So you don't see air, but you see the other things which reflects, which says, oh, the wind is there. You feel it. It has to have a relation to something else. It has to make an effect on something else to be able to perceive air. So air, it's called karma because it's always in relation to hitting, let's say, hitting something else that will respond. And karma is the same. You don't see it, but suddenly you see all around you happening. So karma comes like a wind. It's like that. You don't perceive, but you see around you. So if you want to know your karma in life, just look the people around you. What kind of people? What kind of friends? What kind of family? What kind of teachers? What's the story surrounding you? It's your karma. It's very easy to say, it's the world is terrible, and I'm here, enlightened person, and all these people. I mean, it's your karma. So just look the surroundings around you, and you will understand your karma. So the wisdom of it is the all-accomplishing wisdom, and the neurosis is envy, competition, being workaholic, neurotic, unquiet. So it's like this. People, so karma people are like, they do a lot. They make things happen because they have this speedy mind, very inspired, things are happening. Okay, it's happening. So they can do a lot. People who organize, produces, and work. But of course, easily that can become overdoing, overrunning people, disrespecting people, disrespecting others people, words and wisdom. You just think you are the best and you can do it, and just get out and let me do it. I do it faster. That kind of. So it's easy to become that, and to develop envy, because if you see somebody else doing better than you, then you get that poison very easy of being jealous, being that kind of envy. Of course, each one of the wisdoms are connected also to a realm, and so that we can also talk later on. There's so much we can go deeper into it. But now I want to give two examples before we finish for that. It's imagine that how do you call it, archery, somebody who does arcs. How do you say that? An archer who does bow and arrow. Yeah. So first you like let's think Ratna, earth element. You get the bow in your hands, you have the muscles, you need to stretch. Yeah, you need to stretch. So earth element. And then you have to have a vision, a clear vision of your target. So this is Vajra, the water element, clear vision. And then you need to feel the breath, the warmth of everything, what surrounds you, my body, my blood, my passion about it. That's Padma, yeah, fire. Of course, space, yeah, space is holding that. And what's very interesting, karma happens when all the elements are ready, stretched there, and karma happens only on that when I let it loose. So karma has to do a lot with how I work with all my elements. And karma, it's about letting go. You cannot get the arrow and go, doom, 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 to target. I mean, it makes no sense, right? I mean, you have to let it go. To use the wisdom of air, you have to let it go. So it has a lot of trust. So you build all the conditions with all the elements and let it go. So that's quite a wisdom, because usually we don't trust so much. We want to control. So another example to understand how the 5 families work in one unique situation is, if I'm going to do a dinner, of course, first I need space. Space is always there, not even have to say it, And then I have to think about what I'm going to cook. I do a list exactly, and the ingredients, the amount. This is Vajra. This is vision. Then I go shopping, and then I go cooking, and doing the whole work. This is Earth, Ratna family, cooking and doing and this and that. Then I receive my guests. I put on the candles, and I'm enjoying and I'm laughing. This is Padma. And then when everybody goes, time to clean the dishes. This is Karma. Okay. So we are all the time simultaneously, working with it. It's very beautiful to see that way, I mean, it's nature. It's very beautiful. So what we are going to do, we have half an hour, which is a good time. I knew that would take a little bit long, but it's just an quick look on the 5 wisdoms, and I'm eager for we will go into a deeper contemplation on each. And today what we are going to do then is our drawing of the Dakini, transfer to the center. And also there are still some lines we have to do.